Hello and welcome to the first tutorial of Vicon Blade 3.2, setting up Blade. So first we're going to double click and open up Blade 3, and you can accept the default values and press OK, and Blade will open up. I've already imported a trial so we can see what it'll look like inside. So before we do that, we want to look at this in a different layout so all the components we want are there and everything else we don't need is not. So we're going to import a custom layout and go to my computer, the Z drive, the class MoveSci 413, and click on MoveSci 413 layout.hsl and press open. As you can see now, there's a lot more windows open. We're going to be using all of these, and the ones that we aren't needing are closed. So before we move on to that, we're going to do one more thing with preferences. So go back up to the file and come over here to preferences. And in the directories, we're going to change the hotkey file, and you can open this, go to computer, the Z drive again down here, MoveSci 413, and select hotkey.hsl. Come over here to colors, and in the primary selection we're going to click that and change it to this bright blue. The selected one, the second one, we're going to do a dark blue, and the unlabeled we're going to choose as purple. And there we are, we're going to close. So this is the layout, the custom layout. This area right here is the perspective. It's where we can see all of our three-dimensional data in a 3D system, and we want to view only certain things. So the selection filters, let's clear everything by clicking all or none, and then just selecting markers. That's all we really want to see, and select, and then come over here to view filters, all or none, and unlabeled and labeled. And there we go. Now we got rid of all that other junk, and we got focusing only on the markers. Next we have data health. So as you can see, all these markers are labeled. So here are all of our markers, and we can see where gaps are along other things and other unlabeled markers. Below we have the graph. This shows our coordinates for a particular marker throughout time, and it's nice. You can see gaps really well on it, and there's X, Y, and Z. Over here down to the bottom we have our data management. This will look different for everybody, but this is how files are stored and opened, with the X2D data, the Blade files, all underneath in different folders. Over here is channels. So this will tell you the marker name and the X, Y, and Z coordinates for that particular frame. Below it is labeling editor. This has the marker set over in the left corner, and lets us label throughout the marker set. And below that, and the finale, is the marker editing, which lets us fill gaps using interpolation and fill rigid. So you'll learn about all of these forms later, and be able to use all these tools. So mouse and keyboard controls. So when we want to rotate, we just press down the left mouse button and move it around, and it will rotate in there. Right mouse click will zoom, and this also works in the data health and in the graph. We can zoom just by doing right click. If we do left and right, we pan, and that allows us to move side to side, and you can do that as well in the data health and the graph. We want to select some markers, like we can't just click on it because that is basically the same thing as rotate. So we need to press down Alt and click, and that will select that marker. You can also Alt and drag to select that marker through a set time period. So if you want to select any data, you must press Alt and select, or select drag. If you want to add to that selection, let's say, oh, I want to look at the right pieces as well, Alt Control will add to it. So Control will add to it, Alt Control, and it also works in the data graph by selecting multiple frames. If you accidentally grab too much, you can do Alt Shift, and Shift is basically subtract. So now we only have the right axis. We can also do that within the graph as well, and deselect and subtract from our selection. You can move through time, the final component, by using the wheel on your mouse. By scrubbing, you can see the motion there. The scrubber will move side to side, and also down here on the timeline, you can see the frame increases. The frame number is also right down here in the current time, and that will move up and down as well. If you want to zoom through, you can press and hold the wheel and scrub faster rather than frame by frame. You can press play down here, or you can press the forward arrow key. You can go and rewind by pressing the left arrow key, and you can also go to the very beginning frame by pressing the top, and you can also pause by pressing the down arrow key. The last two things are some tools. So there's something called marker trails, which is right here. So we have selected the right axis, so we're going to put on show marker trails, and as you can see, it's this really cool trajectory that goes both forward and backward in time to kind of showcase that the marker's trajectory. You can also zoom into a specific marker by clicking this track objects. So no matter where you are in space, that marker will be staying in the center of our view, which can be very helpful for certain editing. Beware, when you are a track object, you can rotate, you can zoom, but you cannot pan. So if you can't pan at all, just go back to non-tracking and you can pan. Good luck!